Pablo and welcome to the garden. Today we will be talking about microgreens. Microgreens are very nutritious vegetables, young seedlings with lots of nutrients. Alright, so what we need for this activity is the following. So we will need a big tray like this, small containers on which we are going to grow our microgreens. We need potting soil, water. An alternative to potting soil, we have hemp mat. This is a mat made of hemp. And certainly we will need seeds for microgreens. You have different varieties. Here we have broccoli seeds, and these are a mix of called sandwich boosters, a mix of seeds. Here we have red clover, and certainly brown mustard. In addition, we need masking tape and a Sharpie so we can write the name of the seeds that we are sowing and the date. We need a pair of scissors to cut the hemp mat to size, and paper cups to distribute the seeds. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to moisten the potting soil. So we have potting soil in here, and although it's moist when it comes from the bag, we are going to add some water. Let's add some water to this soil. We add a bit at a time and we mix. We try to reach consistency for making a crumble consistency. So we make sure that it's all nice and moist, homogeneously. You can see that it's too much water over here, so we just, in case that it gets too moist, we have to add more soil. But if it's too dry, you add more water. Yeah, it's quite nice, quite a nice consistency here. It's very, very nice, brown and crumbly. Alright, so let's test. In order to test whether the soil is moist enough, grab a full hand and squeeze it. You can see there is not much water dripping. So there's a quite good consistency, that is quite good, moist. Okay, so it's moist. So far the soil is moist, ready to fill containers. For this project we are going to use these small containers. These containers I found it in a dollar store, and I just made small holes at the bottom to help for the drainage, water drainage, and as well for watering. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to fill these containers with a mix of soil. When you buy containers, make sure they are at least 2 inches deep. For instance, here is a piece of a 2x2, and if you can see, it's quite good, so it's deep enough, because we need to fill these containers with soil with a depth of 2 inches. All right, so it's quite good. It's plenty enough of soil for this container, and enough space for the seeds to grow. I'm going to fill these containers with soil, so I just add quite nice soil in there. Okay, so make sure that is all nice and distributed. Okay, so we can tap on the table. Alright, so using this piece of wood, we also can add a bit of pressure to level nice. Just gentle press it down, compacting the soil. We need a nice and smooth surface for the seeds to sit. Okay, so right, so this is a nice. You can see from the side that soil is not coming out. Okay. All right, so there you go. Let's do this other two. Confirm that I'm filling these 2 other containers with soil, making sure that this is nice and homogeneous. Okay. Again, we tap on the table. We use our piece of wood to compact the soil, so we have a nice smooth surface for the seeds to sit. Okay. Okay, we compact the soil nicely. The fact that we have small containers, it is because we can grow different seeds in each container, and we cannot be overwhelmed having to eat too much. Can you imagine if I plant all of these of kale or broccoli or arugula? It will take quite a while to eat all of these, and so therefore we go with the small containers until we found the vegetables that is for our liking, and then you can start expanding and seeing how much you can eat in a week. Let's plant now these containers with seeds. Planting. So we are going to start sowing these containers with microgreen seeds. The first thing that we have to do is to take this container with water away. We don't want our seed packs getting wet. So let's remove this and put it away. So make sure that your working area is dry. There is no water around you, because very easy we can just dump or spill the seed pack, and if there is water, everything will get wet and those seeds need to be used. Our favorite is red clover, so we are going to plant red clover in here. Another of our favorites is this sandwich booster, so it's a mix of seeds. We can have for breakfast or for lunch to prepare our sandwich. And the third one is brown mustard. If you like a bit of a spicy food, this is quite good as well. Let's start with the red clover. Okay, red clover, one of the main things that we might do is just take our fingers, pinch and spread it. Just remember that our hands are also sweaty and wet, moist, and if we just make seeds that we are not used, they get moist and wet, they will start germinating in the packet. So I very strongly suggest to take your seeds and put in a container. Alright? Never mind how much you put. Okay? Make sure you seal the packet before putting aside. Alright, so here we have our small paper cup with seeds. Okay, now we are going slowly, we are going to spread the seeds, trying to be homogeneous as possible. Alright, so I just use my index finger to tap, and they move from side to side, making sure that all is full of seeds. Okay. The more you do microgreens, the better you will get to this job. So don't worry if at the beginning you just dump lots in one spot. We are learning, and the more you do, the better you get in this process. Okay, so okay. There it goes. Nice. It is left in your paper. Any seed that is left in your paper pot, put it back to your container. Put it back in the seed pack. Okay. Right. The next step: take a masking tape or any tape and write why you have sowing here. So in this case, we have red clover. And today is the 8th of September 2020. So if everything goes okay, these seeds will be ready to harvest in 15 days. Alright, so we just make sure that is in front of this container, just where we can see. Alright, okay, this container with seeds goes into this big tray. Okay, alright, let's put this aside. Okay, so go back. The whole thing. Alright, so let's do the same procedure for the next seed, the sandwich booster and the brown mustard. Okay, so let's put these seeds away so we don't get confused, and let's do all of it again. Okay, so come closer a little bit. So again, you can see me adding seeds to okay, so again I open the seed pack. Oh, where is that? Okay, open the seed pack. Okay, so this you have to finish because there is nice different seeds. Okay, so this is the sandwich booster. Okay, this is a combination of different seeds. Can you zoom in there? Okay, all right, so we're going again. Let's start planting those seeds. Okay, you can see that's a combination of different seeds. Quite difficult to keep an homogeneous distribution, okay, but you just take your time, never hurry. When you're using seeds, never go in a hurry. Take your time. Remember, gardening is relaxing too, and this is one thing that lets put your mind to focus on something different. Okay, so you can see that here I have lots of these mugo beans, so I can very much use a Sharpie or my finger and move them a bit further so it's all distributed nicely across the tray. So I don't want everything in one spot. Alright. Okay, so again we write this. This is sandwich booster. So will be 8, 9, 20. And also you can use here in the brim. Alright, so we can see what is there, and it goes in the tray. Okay. Leftovers, we place them back in this ounce seed pack. Okay. Make sure that it's all sealed and away from a moist environment. Okay, the last one, brown mustard. Okay, the same process. Open the packet, pour some seeds in there, fill the packet. We don't want anything in there, and we spread all nice. Okay, Lovely. Leftovers, they go back to the pack. We seal it and we label the tray with what is planted in there. Okay, so this is brown mustard. And today is the 8th September 20. Okay. We take this and we add it to the edge of the container. Okay, so we can read what is growing here. Okay. All right, and we put in our container. The end result is that we have sown 3 different containers with 3 different types of seeds, and they will be ready to harvest between 10 to 14 days. So what we're going to do next is to bring this to a location in the dark. Right, so we have to make sure that the soil stays moist and all these containers stay in a dark environment. So what we can do is add another of these containers on top. Okay, so seeds will start germinating in 3 to 4 days, and they, under dark conditions, seeds will grow very fast, looking for sunlight. All right, and seeds, remember, we want seedlings as tall as possible, spindly seedlings, and in 4 days you lift the cover and see and check how tall the seeds are, and if they are tall enough, this tall, you can remove the lid and expose all these trays to sunlight. Once the seeds get sunlight, photosynthesis kicks in and the plants, the white plants, will turn into green, and then you can keep under sunlight conditions for another week, or until you feel like you are ready, feel like harvesting them. Right? Regarding with water, I will show you how we should water it. At the moment the soil is very moist, so it's okay, we can keep it like that, but in 2 or 3 days the soil will start getting dry out, so we need to add water. So you add water to this tray, no directly water on the trays with seeds, because the seeds, remember, they are just sitting on top of the soil, and if you just dump lots of water, the seeds will just go with the water and they will go into completely dislodge. Okay, so we add water in this big tray. All right, so you can see this tray has some ribs. We try to cover those ribs with water, so we add water until it covers the ribs. Okay, so you may need to shake it a bit, and that's it. I mean, this table is not a level, but it will be just like that. Okay, that's it. You add water to these trays, not to the trays with seeds. So far we have one method of how to start microgreens, and I will show you a second method using the hemp mat. Growing microgreens using a hemp mat. For this we will need the hemp mat, a small container. We need a container with water, seeds, scissors to cut the mat to the size, Sharpies, we need masking tape, Sharpies, seeds, and a paper cup. Alright, the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to cut this mat to size for this tray. So we have cut the hemp mat to the size of this tray. Okay, so that's it, how it looks. Alright, so the next step is to make this mat moist. So for that we use this container with water. Okay, so what we are going to do, we take the mat and soak in this container. Now this you can do overnight. Sometimes the mat is very dry. Okay, and sometimes it's not. So you can just leave it overnight, or as I'm doing right now, for a few minutes we leave it there. So all this mat gets very nice and moist. So make sure that everything is inside. Okay. Once it's moist, okay. So now the mat is all wet. So make sure let it drain, let excess of water drain. Okay. All right. So it's a nice moist surface for the seeds to sit on. All right. Then we put this mat into the tray. All right. Okay, so we put this water away. Remember, we're going to work with seeds, and we don't want any water around. Also, make sure that your hands are dry when you are working with seeds. Okay, so since I don't have a towel, my t-shirt will do it. All right, and this tray we are going to plant. We already have planted red clover. We have planted sandwich booster. We planted brown mustard. In this we are going to put broccoli seeds. All right, so broccoli seeds, and the process repeats itself. Again, you put a bit of some seeds of broccoli seeds in the cup. You seal the container so no seeds get lost if you by accident spill the bag or topple the bag. Okay, so again we are going to spread seeds all over this mat. So here a question for you. What are the requirements that a seed needs in order to germinate? What are the requirements that a seed needs in order to germinate? Okay, have a guess. What do you think? If you recall, plants will need more requirements than seeds. Okay. Alright, kind of homogeneous. Alright, seeds need only two things in order to germinate. One is moisture, water, and the other is temperature. That's only they need, a warm, nice temperature. Okay, so these seeds are ready, this tray is ready to go indoors. Okay, so again, put your seeds, extra seeds back in the container, in your seed pack, seal it, and we put it away. Okay, so again we put our name. This was broccoli seeds, and today is the 8th, 9, 20. Alright, so we know which. If you are familiar with growing plants, you are quite familiar that small plants are difficult to recognize unless you know what is. Okay, so we name each tray because when seeds are germinating, it's quite difficult to recognize which plant it is. Okay, so we know that this is broccoli. Alright, so this tray will join the other trays that we have. These are the trays that we have planted before. Okay, so now we are going to make room for this tray. Okay, so because of the holes underneath, the water will go upwards using the capillarity properties of the water. So we just need to make sure that it fits in here. All right, so the mat will keep moist. Okay. Here I have a second tray similar to this one, and I'm going to use as a lid, so I will just cover like that there, and I will keep this for 4 days. Now and then, I would say every day, I will come and lift it, so there is an exchange of air, and as well I can see how the seeds are doing. Okay, so like that. After 4 days, hopefully all the seeds have germinated, seeds are tall enough, and I will remove this completely and expose all this tray to sunlight. So far we have planted 4 trays, all with different seeds, and we bring this to inside in our house, to put this in a warm spot and just wait to see how they germinate. Alright, I hope you were able to follow what I have done today. It's not so difficult, it's easier, and just have all the materials at hand. Okay, from the Learning Garden, it was nice to see you, and see you the next time. Bye.